if it lets me. We'll see. So our next step is probably one of the coolest things in Onshape. For some programs, it doesn't work so well for laser cutting, but just a couple trial and errors in the past, and also working with it right now, it should work for laser cutting. There is a tool right here called the Sheetmetal Model Tool. So if we click on Sheetmetal Model Tool, we get this pop-up right here. Now, I believe I already have some settings in here that are set up because I've used this tool previously. These settings here are probably fine for laser cutting. We'll come back to them in a minute. It's asking for a part or a surface to convert in the Sheetmetal tool. I can click on my blank, and what you'll see, I'm just going to check out of this tool right now, is it's added these like different surfaces or parts around our shape. The way I want you to imagine this just right now, these are all individual parts that if we glued them together, they could make our greenhouse out of sheet goods. If you look at the example that I posted here for SparkFun, these laser files, I'm just going to open up GitHub real quick, they have all of these pieces, but we're going to do a little bit differently, and we're going to make it so that it's flat pack. So we're going to do a little extra. If we hop back into our sheet metal model here, right here it says edges or cylinders to bend. So if we wanted to cut something out of sheet metal, if we wanted to cut something out of cardboard, any sheet material that could bend, we could start to calculate that and try to get a model of it in Onshape using this tool. Now, thickness, I've set it to 5/30 seconds, like roughly thickness of regular cardboard. These bend radiuses don't matter for us currently because we're engraving that line that we fold on, so we're going to get a clean, like almost 90-degree fold, whereas in other materials you can actually calculate, like when we bend the metal or when we bend the plastic, how much will it shrink up. So later on, when we need to actually cut this thing out of something, maybe it needs to be bigger than we intended. But for us right now, these settings are cool. Edges and cylinders to bend. What we want to look at briefly is my sketch that I made a moment ago. So again, this is a flat pack. Right now I have a bunch of different parts in Onshape. I'm going to try as best as I can to flip between this sketch and what I have going on this screen. So if we look at this back face right here, it's connected to the bottom and it's connected to this piece right here. What I'm maybe going to do is maybe have this piece down here instead. I just didn't do that. So we want this blank face right now, and we're not even considering the windows just yet, to be connected to this A-frame. So if I hop into Onshape, I can make sure I have edges or cylinders to bend selected, and I can click on this edge here. And what it's going to do is it's going to combine them together, so that's a bend. Now, if I rotate around a little bit, it's going to get a little bit messy. I can click on this, and I can click on this, and I now have multiple pieces combined together. Now, behind the scenes, I didn't open this up a second ago, but behind the scenes, and I may have to move myself for a second over to the other side, there is a little tooltip right here called Sheet Metal Table and Flat View. This is our flat diagram. So what we can start to look at is whether or not we are getting close to that sketch that I had. So if I flip this upside down now, I have a couple pieces here linked together, and then in Onshape I have a couple pieces here linked together same way. So I got a rectangle, A-frame, rectangle, A-frame. There's some other random pieces here, they just have not been linked yet. So if we just make sure that we have our edges or cylinders to bend still selected, I should be able to now click on this edge. You see that pops up there, this edge, and finally the top of the A-frame. and now I have my flat pack. So I can actually hit check right here, and I have my flat pack greenhouse. Like this, I could start to work on, make some windows in, all that sort of stuff. And I have my flat pack diagram over here on the right. So what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to just move myself back over bottom right, and we're going to look at my little checklist